even to this moment now, my bad. It's me unapologetically see the video cut. So just pick up right here. But yeah, even when me and this man split, literally we were tied together. Like I knew when something was wrong, like with him. And so like yeah, like if something was wrong, like I knew something was going on with him. Like we just had that. We were tied to each other. We were together. Like I honestly say like most people who took oaths before the courthouse, like they did not have the bond in a relationship we had. So when that man died, like it was a whole transformation for me. It wasn't and there is grief and separation, but grief and separation and grief and actually someone dying is two different griefs. The separation grief is a death. It's a death of what used to be, but when your person actually dies, that's a whole another ball game. So and I was showing her some of my like she was on the phone sometimes when I would come to these fucking realizations of I remember like the moment like I came out about I think like my dad touching me. Like I think she might have been on the phone cuz I can't remember everything so clearly cuz everything just happened so fucking fast. But like I think she was on the phone like when I just yelled out screaming like it was hurtful to have so many realizations that like I had stuffed down deep so long. And she was a part of some of those experiences and like it hurt me that like she took advantage. Like I remember and she had a support team. I didn't have one. She had a support team. I didn't have one. Um and fuck it. These are my videos and my life experiences, and I'm not saying nobody's name, so hit dog holler. But I'ma just go ahead and tell certain scenarios so you can get a picture of how used I felt, how drained I was. I remember it was Christmas break and her son had a project due. She kind of was manipulative about it and was like, yeah, the teacher waited at the last minute and gave them the project. And I'm like, I ain't think about it till now. And I really don't give a shit whether it was last minute or on time. Like, but I was in a vulnerable state and I wasn't paying attention. And so I felt sorry for her because of the way she was saying it. And she was just, going through her breakup. And I felt sorry for her. So she was like, yeah, he got to do this project. I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, just basically she's disheveled from the breakup. So I'm like, all right, y'all know me. If you don't know by now, like I am a creative. So I love to do shit like that. I love to do little projects and stuff like that. However, in that state of mind, like I really wasn't, there. However, a friend needs me, and that's who I was. A friend needs me. So I'm gonna put my feelings to the side. I'm gonna put how sad and fucked up me and my child is to the side, and maybe my child, going over there, get to see her, like, cause her son was, you know, her kids was close with mine. So cause I ain't giving up too much, cause some people know us. So but yeah, like I found myself going over there doing the project. It was like maybe like $14 maybe, but I even went like half with her for some of the supplies because I literally had a arts and craft cabinet like full of paints and all that shit, glue, you name it in there, glue gun, all that stuff. But I literally, because that's how fucked up I was, I had forgot, I had put stuff in the bag, I had forgot the stuff at home because that was going to stop her from having to buy anything. So but she had already bought the supplies like from Dollar Tree that she wanted to use and all that stuff. So I just came over there, girl. I did the project with the boy, and then but pretty much I designed the project and let him paint and glue some of the stuff on, and then he actually had to do the actual labeling of the project. So and she sat there, she's distraught and in her mood, and I'm sympathizing for her. I'm empathizing for her. But it was situations like that where it just kept feeling like, it's about her. It's about her. And I seen it not just with me. So I don't think this was personal to me. I think this is just the state of mind that she's in. And I don't think she realized how narcissistic her behaviors are. I'm not here to diagnose her and say whether she's full-blown narcissist, but she fucking got narcissistic tendencies. And we all do. But goddamn, I would have never done a friend like she was doing me during that time that had lost their fucking partner. And there was more scenarios and situations, and it got to a point where it was like, she even mentioned in one of the, because I said she was trying to like pushing herself on me, like clinging to me and calling all the time. So I would be like, I don't really do well with like, friends calling all the time. Like, that's gonna, burn me out. So then she was like, we both came to the understanding, like, she said, well, I'll just call you every once in a while. And so she did that. But her every once in a while turned out to be like very intense moments where she really would need help. That's where it was hard for me to feel like, this person ain't good for you. But there was a next situation after we figured out, well, maybe we shouldn't be talking every single day because that's not my personality and that just don't work for me anyway. I'm not that type of girl. Like, there are some girls, like, and I don't feel like that's wrong. Like, if you are one of those girls who you got to be, with your bestie and talking on the phone, and you just got these people that you talk on the phone to, like, it's a ritual every day. I don't find nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's not for me. Like, I've just never been that girl. Even when I'm in a relationship, like, we don't have to talk on the phone every day because I'm gonna see you. Like, so like, I'm just not one of them people like where we on the phone all day every day. Like, I'm a check-in type person. Like, oh, I thought about you, hope all is well type of deal. Now, if you want to vent and all that stuff, you want to talk about your good times and your good stuff, like, I'm there too. But I'm more of a when you need me type of person than I am the gossip. I grew up around like a lot of like people who gossip all the time. Like, I hate that shit. And I'm not talking about people who are informing each other over like people's business. Like, how do I put this? I'm not talking about people who are informing others of people doing fucked up shit that can affect them, or that they need to take note of or be wary of. That's not gossip to me. That's more of like, you're sharing information. You're sharing information that is going to be valuable to you. I'm talking about, like, I just can't be one of them people that's on the phone just gossiping all day long. Like, I can't do that. Now, I do know people who are on the phone all day long and they're not gossiping. Like, but I still can't do that either. Like, I get bored and I want to get off the phone after a while. Like, and then you're going to like make me feel like, because it's just like, and it's only every day. Like, I'm fine with it every now and then. I'm even fine with it once a week. Like, I'm fine with that. Fine with twice a week. Like, there's some people like I could hold space for it. It just depends on who you are. But every day, I don't do that every day. I can't do that with no one. Like, but the woman that was in there that birthed me, and I did it out of obligation because that's what she wanted. So I think too that might be like a reason I don't want to do it too. Is because like, if I do it, it's out of obligation. It's not because that's what I want. Like, I don't have that much to talk about in this world that, I can be on the phone every day. I can't even do these videos every day because I don't have that much to talk about in the world. Like, sometimes I just want to be at peace and to myself in solitude. So that part was nothing to do with her. It just was personality clashes. So we got that settled. But then soon after that got settled, a situation occurred where she had called and it was about like 3:00 in the morning, and she was going through something valid as fuck. It was valid as fuck. I don't care whether she put herself in the situation or not. It was a valid situation that she was going through. And however, I was grieving my brother. I was grieving the lady I look at as my sister, Ro. I've talked about her in other videos. She was more my sister than my fucking sister was sometimes. So, and she just was a good maternal figure in my life, and we just always looked at each other as family anyway, because we shared the same last name, and so we always called each other family. Anyway, so lost her. So her and my brother share the same birthday. And then Dante birthday is 2 days after theirs. So this is like around Christmas time. So I'm going through it. I'm not going through it because it's Christmas, because Christmas really doesn't have any value to me besides what we've been conditioned and taught, that it's Jesus' birthday, but literally has turned into this whole Santa arena and gift giving arena. And then I be seeing the weirdest and feeling the weirdest energy during Christmas time. I feel like Christmas literally is still attached to the pagan stuff, because Christmas be weird. Like, if you want to see some hateful spirits come out, the nasty shit come out, good, it's Christmas time. Christmas time is the time of the year for that shit, boy. Like, I'm telling you, it'd be the weirdest energies. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that them spirits come to play during Christmas. But anywho, I've gotten off topic, but I'm going through it not because, like, we had these traditions, and literally we celebrated Christmas for our daughter. We told her the truth about Christmas. We even told her that, like, there's no proof that, like, Jesus was born during that time. Like, it's actually more likely, I think it was more likely spring, but I can't remember the months, but it definitely wasn't winter. So literally it could have been like, I think that's what it was. It was like maybe like the end of winter, more of spring. So, but I can't remember verbatim. I told you it's a lot of stuff in here, but baby girl has to brush up on it. But it's in here. If I try to tap into it, I definitely can. I just don't feel like it, because there's a lot of facts in here. Like, it's a lot of facts and history and science and religion. Like, it's a lot of it in here. So, literally, I was going through it that night when she called. I was also planning on going to see, one of my coworkers that was like family to me the next morning. So when she called, she disturbed my peace, because I'm already going through my own shit, and then I'm trying to go to sleep, and then she calls, and still, and yet I show up as a friend, or what I would want to what I would have wanted to have. That's what I'm gonna start saying. I showed up for her the way I would have wanted someone to show up for me, and I listened and all that stuff. And so talked to her at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think she called again about like 10 in the morning or something like that. And I think that's when I was like, you know what? We're going to have to talk. Like, I had to tell her, like, it wasn't verbatim, but I was letting her know, like, I have just lost, Dante. And not only did, and literally it was a month. I had just lost him a month ago. So, not only did I lose Dante, I'm grieving, these other people that I've lost, because their birthdays are, right here. I was like, later on, I'm supposed to be driving down to, see my coworkers, and I'm real tired and all that stuff, and all of it. And I'd already forced myself to come visit my mom for that Christmas, and I didn't really want to, but I'm doing it because, I feel like life is short, and you just don't know, when these people gonna go, because I done already lost this person. And so, like, I'm at my mom's house, and I'm just miserable that I'm there. Like, I should have probably stayed at home. And but I'm trying to do what I think is right, and not realizing that what's right is honoring myself. And so I'm trying to honor myself with her right now by telling her how I feel. And she lets me know, like, oh, I'm sorry. And I said nothing about draining me. But she says this. She said, oh, I'm sorry, sis. I'm sorry that I'm draining you and all that stuff. So then when she said that, like, my reaction is, oh, no, you're not draining me. It's just I got my own stuff going on. But when in all actuality, she was draining me. And her saying that let me know that she was aware that she was draining me. However, I was in such a vulnerable state. I couldn't act on it. I'm still trying to show up for other people the way I wanted someone to show up for me. And I'm actually thankful that no one showed up. And I say that with laughter in my fucking heart, because every time in life, like, no one really showed up. Like, yeah, I've had help, and I thank God for that, because I've never been able to allow anyone to be my crutch. And I think that's what a lot of people is doing in life. They want other people to be their crutch. And I did this time. I did. This was one of the moments in my life where I really wanted a crutch. I really wanted someone to pick me up and hold me and tell me that everything was going to be fucking okay. And I did not get that. I did not get that. I did get, kind words over phone conversations. And, my situation was very different and unique to other people. So could nobody really fucking give me anything besides kind words and God. And I thank God for that, because it has allowed me to know once again how strong I am. It has allowed me to save myself. And I feel like sometimes when we looking for other people to save us, like, if them people come out and save you, most of the people that try to come out and save you, not all, but a lot of people that really gonna come out and save you, they're gonna try to use it against you anyway. They're gonna try to make it seem like they the one that built you and made you. And it's always good to just save yourself. Who the hell is this? Let me see who this is. Hello? Yeah, so it was funny. I was like, who the hell is this calling? But my phone had went dead and I forgot to unlock it, so I couldn't see any of my contacts. And so that was a great friend of mine, one of my students. So her voice got to make a debut. She's like, hey girl. All right, so yeah, so that's a prime example of, like, yeah, I will talk to you, but she's one of the people, like, I don't mind talking to her, because she does hers with, I feel like she thinks about it. She doesn't try to just burden me, period. But even if she did, she's also a person that would receive that, hey, I'm busy at the second, I'm gonna call you back, or she plays fair. So one of the things too that I want to say about telling this second scenario is that I don't even blame her for any of this shit. Like any of the parts where I felt used, any of that, any of the envy that showed up with her, because I haven't even gotten to that stuff, and I'm gonna just leave that shit alone. I think I've explained enough of where I felt taken advantage of and all that stuff. But I blame me, because the reason I take full responsibility on my end for that shit is because I should have nipped that shit in the bud years ago. And I think there was always something kind of like off with the friendship for me. But definitely I should have nipped shit in the bud when it was happening. However, I give myself grace. I literally had just lost my partner. So I give myself grace. I forgive her. However, what I decided to do, I left this out too. So I was on a celibacy journey, and I had let everybody know in my videos, including her. I let her know through phone conversations that, I was going to be celibate. I wasn't going to be having sex. That was another thing that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, if you're on a celibacy journey, sure, you shouldn't be triggered by stuff, but like, this was like blatant intentionality, sending me hypersexualized videos of niggas and bitches. And when I say like sending me hypersexualized videos, like literally very much some tempting shit, like niggas with dick prints and, bitches who just look very like they're trying to tempt you in these videos. Like, you see it all online all day. The thirst traps. So literally would call me about certain shit that was sexually, charged. And it's like, but I don't care, because I'm not feeding into that. And like I said, I don't have no judgment on people and their sexuality, their choices, their decisions. Like, that shit is your business. But if I had a friend who has told me they're on a celibacy journey, I'm not going to constantly keep bringing up sex, and I'm not going to constantly keep sending you memes and videos that are sexually charged. I'm going to support you on that journey by just we not going to talk about it. I might check in with you how it's going. You stayed away from the penis? Like, like, you good? Sis, you need a hug? Like, and not even just that you need a hug, but just like, I would check in on my friend, but I would not tempt my friend. And I felt very much tempted. Like, not even that I was tempted. I felt like she was trying to tempt me, but she didn't even know how to do that. Because it was like nothing she was sending me made me feel that way. Like, so, so that was weird to me in that aspect. It was really weird to me. Yeah. So there was a lot of weirdness going on. And I just got to a point, I remember my last phone conversation. I just remember getting to this point in my mind where I felt like, you are getting a thrill and a rush from being a helper or a savior. And I would say more like I felt like I was helping her, which in turn could save her. I don't think she wanted saving, and it wasn't my place to be trying to save her or like give her, all this information and try to help her. Like, she's a grown up. She knows her own path. She's on her own path. Her path and my path is no longer aligning. Whatever we met when we was younger, it aligned for that moment. And I don't regret our friendship at all. I love her kids. I will always love her kids. I always love her. But like, and nothing she has done has made me feel like, like I never, like, I'm trying to say, like, there's no ill will, but it's like, it would be a hey girl, like, on the street, and that's it. But like, to be friends, talk, loyalty, trust, I have none of that. I don't trust or have loyalty there. And I literally, the way I handled it, so a lot of people would be like, ghosting is immature and all that stuff, but I don't think ghosting is necessarily immature on all levels. I do think that ghosting can show a certain maturity level depending on the situations. But for this situation, I felt like we had talked multiple times about her crossing certain lines for me. And once again, I was setting boundaries in the hopes that she would respect them instead of respecting myself. So I finally got the cojones, which I would actually like to say, confirmation. I would actually like to say I got the ovaries, because y'all cojones are weak. I got the ovaries to actually, stand on business. And my stand on business was block. So she was blocked from my social medias that I use because I don't want her sending me any memes. I didn't want her reaching out to me, because that's typically how we started to communicate. Instead of talking to on phone each other every day, we would send each other memes and stuff, and videos. But like I said, a lot of the content she would send me, it was not aligned with me. So then I blocked her on that stuff. Then I blocked her on my phone. So no, I did not have a fucking single conversation with her about where she went wrong with me this last time and all that stuff, because it wasn't just the last time situation. It was a culmination of everything, and we had already talked, and I'm just tired. I'm just tired at this point. I'm just tired. And like I said, I'm going through my own shit. And I know everybody goes through their own shit, but I am not out here trying to put my shit onto others. I'm literally trying to alchemize my shit so that I can help others. And I felt like, I just did not feel like explaining to her why I didn't want to talk anymore. I felt like we've had these conversations and, it's time. We no longer are equally yoked or aligned. And it was time to cut things off. So months go by and months go by and months go by, and she, like, of her, I don't know if she tried to reach out. I don't really care. The whole point of it was so that she couldn't reach out. So I get a random call from a number I don't know, and no, I actually got a blocked call from a number, and then I got a text from a number, and it was her, and she was just saying how she felt like she had been trying to get in touch with me, and she was trying to see what was going on, and that, like, she just wanted to, it was kind of like a text message trying to see, like, I felt like, this is from my perspective, like, she seeing if she could wiggle her way back in, because to me, if someone had blocked me from their social media, they've blocked me from their phone number, and all these months have went by, I don't really understand. Like, if all these months have went by, like, you can't be too concerned. And I did realize too, I wasn't posting content. So I don't know if maybe that alarmed her and maybe she did feel concerned. I really am not into the business to be the detective and investigator no more about these people. I really don't give a shit, because your shit is your shit, my shit is my shit. And I'm trying to work out my shit. So I literally just kind of felt like the text message was not genuine or whatever, nor did it matter whether it was genuine or not. And I just basically, it was a text message to see, like, was I okay? Was, she was trying to reach out, and if I didn't want to talk to her no more, no, if I did want to talk to her, like, she'd had his number for a couple of days, and that if I didn't, then, like, she'll understand and she just won't reach out to me anymore. And so I was like, well, obviously she's kind of looking for some type of closure or something, so let me respond. And I responded the best way I knew how to respond. It was no malice, no ill will, just letting her know, like, I no longer want to have a friendship with her. I do love her kids. I will still, be involved with the kids if she was okay with it, but me and her friendship is done. And I kind of felt like it was a disrespect on my boundary anyway, because if I blocked you, that's showing you that I don't want to have anything to do with you in itself. But I do understand people wanting closure, so I tried to give her that closure by just letting her know straight up, like, hey, like, we're no longer aligned with each other. Like, we really don't have much in common with each other. Like, I no longer wish to be friends. It doesn't mean that, when I see you on the street, like, I wouldn't say hi, how you doing, but, like, close friendship at all, like, I have no desires or wants for it. And so that was my boundaries for me starting to realize that, like, if I constantly have to keep getting you to respect certain boundaries, or if I'm in a vulnerable state, and that was another situation too that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I was telling her about one night I was drunk with a friend, and the friend helped me get in the car while I was drunk, and she was like, you can't be mad at her if you said you wanted to go. And I was like, I had a friend who was black the fuck out drunk that wanted to go. She couldn't even see, but I wasn't gonna let her go. And but she was like, you can't blame her. And it was like, but you're not a friend then. And I can't say that you're not a friend. You're just not a person that I would want to be have in my corner when I'm vulnerable. Like, I would want people in my corner when I'm in a vulnerable state, which I was in a vulnerable state. I was in a vulnerable state when I was drunk and out of my mind that night. I would have needed a friend to be like, no, I can't let you get in that car. Like, no. And I've been that friend. And so that started to make me realize, like, I have to value people who reflect me, who reflect me. They're still themselves, but, like, they share certain values and certain morals and certain ideologies as me. I cannot keep forcing alignment with things that don't align with me. And that doesn't mean that she's a bad person. She's just not a good person for me. So she had made that remark, and I was like, ugh. So that means that if I'm ever in a vulnerable state, in which she showed me, if I'm ever in a vulnerable state, I could not trust you to handle me well. I was in a vulnerable state with multiple of people and my friends that I consider friends, and they handled me with care and well. And that's all I can ask for, because there are going to be moments in this life where I'm going to be vulnerable sometimes. And I'm not talking about vulnerable in the sense of me sharing my feelings. I'm talking about like vulnerable in the sense of my faculties are not all the way there, and I don't have to be under the influence to be like that. I literally can be in a great deal of pain, such as grieving, and the fact that you would take advantage of me in that state, I can't trust you. I've lost trust for you. I've lost respect for you, because I would never show up and do that to someone else. If anything, if I can't handle you well, I'm going to disappear. And so I'm going to back off. And I might not verbalize that, but I'm going to literally not try to take advantage of you. So we weren't equally yoked, and that's just that, and that's fine. And the true boundary setting in that was standing on business. Like, if I blocked you, I don't give a fuck whether I ghosted her or not. Like, I wasn't still obligated to give her an explanation or closure on that matter. But I had to stand on my own business about, like, I'm not going to go back to relationships, friendships, partnerships, none of that shit that don't align with who I am and where I want to be at in life. Because who I am and what I possess, I can't surround myself around certain people and certain energies and certain vibrations and think that I'm going to maintain and keep what I want, what I desire, and what I actually have. Like, I'm going to get tricked out my spot every time. So literally I set the boundary of this not allowing me. I'm not going to keep dealing with it. And it was less about expecting her to show up as I wanted her to, but actually showing up for myself as I always should have. And that was realizing that this is not a compatible situation. And sometimes that's just what a boundary looks like. This is not compatible for my well-being and my health. The boundary is we don't talk. So my boundary is I'm not going to engage with people, places, or things that are not aligned with me. And I'm learning this as I go. So I'm learning what's not aligned with me as I go, and I'm giving myself grace on figuring that out. Then there was a situation with my family member, one of my family members. Like, look, they were hitting me back to back. And so literally I was going through it. Literally had gotten into this heated discussion, this heated argument with my mom. And that was like the last time. So after that, that's when I learned that I will not be engaging anymore. The triggers aren't going to trigger anymore. If anything, I will be triggering her. Like, she will not be triggering me. So I literally had, been navigating a lot of shit, and I'm not ready to speak on it right now. And that's a boundary for me. I don't have to speak on shit that I'm not ready to speak on. So literally I was in this space where I'm trying to gather myself. I'm literally trying to make sure my child don't jump off the deep end. Like, so I'm trying to wrangle me and her. And I had a cousin that reached out and called. Didn't know what she wanted. She had texted me twice prior to that. A lot of little weird shit, because we're learning each other. So, like, of course, like, what I deem as okay to me might be different from what she deemed as okay to her. So literally she had reached out twice. I don't think I had responded, and that was through text message. Anybody who fucking knows me, and that's why I say we were learning each other. We had just met like a year or two ago, and we had only seen each other once, and we might have talked on the phone maybe 4 or 5 times. So we don't know each other. We're learning each other. Anybody who know me know I will ignore the fuck out of your text message. And it is not with malice. It is with, sometimes I am busy. Sometimes mentally I am not there. I am not even there to answer or respond to you with the love and the compassion that I would need to. So once again, opposed to me coming off with energy that has shit to do with you, I usually take a step back. And that's my choice. Like, what I choose to do with me is my choice. And I have lived in a family who has guilt tripped me and shamed me into feeling obligated. I mean, feeling obligated to choose them before I choose myself. And they will not choose me before they choose themselves. And I have gotten conditioned and used to that. I have recently been breaking that shit because, like, I had literally got used to and conditioned to putting these motherfuckers first before I put myself. I can't do that shit no more. If it ain't me or that kid that I done pushed out, that I signed up for, like, that comes first. Like, if me and her are on the brink of goddamn, falling the fucking apart, we come first. If we are having a sunshiny day, we come first. Over here. This sovereignty, we come first. Now, whatever extra I can give and I can lend, whether it's energy, time, money, whatever extra I can lend and give, I will do. But we come first. This was a situation where literally I had nothing to give nobody. Not time, not space, not energy, not talk, not nothing. And I needed help. And opposed to me, once again, reaching out to everybody else, I did what I felt was safe. So when I literally texted her, because she had texted twice, and then she had called, and this was over a period of time, she had called, and so when she called, I kind of started to feel bad that, like, I hadn't answered her phone call or her text. So I was like, Latifah, like, at least you can do is communicate, because I know I'm horrible at that. Like, I know I'm horrible at communicating with other people. I just shut down when I'm dealing with my own stuff. And so what I did was, like, text her and was like, hey, I've been really busy, which wasn't a lie. I've been really busy dealing with my own shit. And I didn't think I had to explain anything to her, because in the past I would get wordy with people and start to tell them what's going on and why. And I don't need to do that. Like, that is a boundary for me. Like, I literally tell all in these videos when I'm ready to tell all. And I feel like that's when I'm ready. But if I'm not ready to just self-disclose that, goddamn, I'm assed out and I'm homeless and I'm living in a car, like, I shouldn't have to tell that. Like, I shouldn't have to go into detail to no one about what I'm actually dealing with unless I want to. And at the time, I didn't feel like sharing with her anything I was going through, or anybody else for real, for that matter. So when she called, what I did feel was guilt. And I was like, why am I feeling guilt about this? Like, we're not even close. Like, we family, we blood, but, like, we're not even super close. Like, why am I feeling guilty all of a sudden? So anyway, I was like, you know what, to minimize the guilt, I'm going to text her and let her know. I do feel like people will project energies onto you. I do believe in telepathy. I do believe in energies being shared amongst people. So be careful who you fucking connect with. And once you realize that you don't need them connections, dismount immediately. Because I really didn't have anything to feel guilty about. Like, me and my child were going through some shit. And I'm pretty sure she got her own life and she goes through shit. But I'm not going to try to make her respond to me or talk to me when she don't want to. So I texted her and was like, I'm really busy. Catch up with you when I can. And I left it like that. It was cut and dry. However, I will say this. Once again, we were learning each other. And if she would have known me, she would have known that if it was an emergency, she could have texted me back and said, what? It was an emergency. I really could talk. I'm so fucking kind-hearted to a flaw. I am kind-hearted to a flaw. I am kind-hearted to a flaw. And I would say I was nice to a flaw, because kindness is something different from nice. I was very fucking foolish to the flaw. To the flaw. Like, literally, if she would have said she was going through an emergency, I could be asked out on the streets, and I would have been like, all right, call me, let's talk. And I would have listened to whatever the fuck she had to say. Like, I would have listened to whatever she had to say. I would have been there for her. Mind you, once again, no one is there for me. It doesn't matter whether I haven't utilized reaching out to people or whatever the case may be. It is me and my child fighting for our lives. And I'm not projecting or feeling bad that no one is here for me. Like, I have yet to feel anger towards any of the fucking support team that I know I have, because I know life. I know life happens, and I know it's happening for all of us. And during that time and during this time right now, I can't give a shit of that life is happening to other people. I have to care about it happening to me. And when I am called to, care about it happening to other people, I give and lend what I can. But by no means should I be guilt tripped or manipulated into doing so. So, saying all that, I text her a day go by. She texts me back and says this is on her heart, and this is not verbatim, but she was like, this has been on her heart. She felt like she needed to say it, and she basically sent me a guilt trippy. That's how I perceived it, as a motherfucking guilt trip manipulation pie. It basically has said something like, she reaches out to her circle, and it was kind of like on some, the way I perceived it was like on some, the people that she care about, she reaches out to, and they reach out to her, and she was sorry she didn't make the cut, and all this other shit. And not once did it mention anything about she don't, like it. Basically, the text message was worded in a way that it felt like she was letting me know that I couldn't show up for her or some shit when she needed me to. And I don't know. I don't know how to perceive that bullshit that I read. But for me, it read bullshit, and I'm going to trust me, because I haven't trusted me over all these years, and I should have. I should have trusted my feelings and how I'm perceiving it, whether I'm perceiving it right or wrong in their eyes or whatever the fuck is not aligned with me, because I'm going to trust me. It's not aligned with me if it doesn't feel right. So it was basically saying that's the part, because all the other shit really doesn't matter what was said. The part that fucks me up was when she called, it was something that she needed to talk about, and she couldn't do it over text. However, when I texted her that I was busy and we'll catch up when I could, she texted me, okay, understood. The same way that you text me, okay, understood, you really could have texted me, hey, cuz, know you busy, but when you get a chance, I need to talk. It's an emergency. Probably would have called you about 10, 15 minutes later. I would have made space and made room for you. If I could, because I don't even remember what I was doing at the time. I don't give a fuck if I was just sitting on my ass in the bed and, watching TV. I was busy. And we need to normalize that. Why do people feel obligated to your time? Why do people feel obligated to your time? Like, if I literally was sitting in the bed watching TV, scratching my ass, like, I was busy. I was busy, scratching my ass. And so it's funny that I redid these videos, because they're literally coming out the same. But that's good, though, because that meant that my emotions were real and raw in that moment. And, I still feel the same way, even when I'm clear and level-headed. And some people might take my delivery as harsh, but People might say like the delivery is too soft. Like, but yeah, like she literally said that like what she had to say needed to be said over the phone. It couldn't be text. And so that's still feels like you're right. Like what? You're trying to make me feel bad that I wasn't there for you at that moment. And it's like, but the same way that you text me, okay, understood, was the same way you could have texted me that you needed to talk and you couldn't talk over text message. And that when I get a chance, could I call you back? Like, it's elementary. And it was like, it just felt like real anxious and guilty and manipulative in the way that she sent a text. I simply held space and boundaries for myself. I was like, you know what? In the past, this text message and this situation would have made me feel like I was wrong. Like literally, no bullshit. Like this is what I have been used to in my childhood and the homes that I grew up, like the environment I grew up in. Like this is how they have always gotten me. Like they will guilt trip me into feeling like I'm wrong because I'm holding space for myself and that I am taking charge of how I utilize my time and who I utilize it with. And I will be pointed out as I'm the one being selfish or I'm the one not sharing space, when literally what they ask from me, they can't give back to me. What people ask of me, they can't give back to me. And I feel like I have held on to certain relationships for so long that I've missed out on the people who are actually beautiful for me. And I've missed out on them in so many ways. I've missed out on them by showing up like the people who, like how people treated me. I've missed out on people that way. I've missed out on people simply by being too afraid that I was toxic and unhealthy, so I didn't even want to put them through that shit. Like I have missed out on so many people just from feeling unworthy. So literally, I have been clearing space. And I have been standing on business. I just literally told her like, thanks for cutting yourself off, because I wasn't even cutting her off. I was holding space for me and my child at the time. And I didn't owe anybody an explanation for why I was busy or none of that shit. Like, it didn't matter. I was holding space for me. And if I didn't feel like being bothered, like I said, I could have been in bed picking toe jam. Like, if I didn't feel like having a conversation at the time and you did not verbalize that it was important, like, make it make sense to me. And so I literally know I talk a lot about how I feel gifted. I don't feel gifted. I am gifted with certain abilities and talents. And I think she was too. And I think she was picking up on, I did not feel like being bothered with her. And it wasn't simply as personal to her. Like, but yeah, I didn't feel like being bothered with her energy right now. And that's my choice. That's my choice. It is my choice, and I think we need to normalize it being our choice without people being offended about how we choose to spend our time, our energy, none of that. Like, for too long have I felt so guilted and shamed into dealing with people, places, and things that did not align with me. So much so, it made me show up as my abuser sometimes. And I've been working hard as hell to get that poison out of me. I have been working hard as hell to transmute that shit into something else, to make my own personalized cure, to make cures for others. Because I'm not the only one going through these situations. And sometimes when I need time to myself, like, I am healing. I am working on things to make me a better person. I can't simply deal with your things. And I shouldn't have to explain that. Definitely not to anyone who literally hasn't shown up for me. Literally hasn't shown up for me. And not that you're obligated to show up for me, but goddamn, if you're going to try to guilt me into some shit, like, at least be a person that has shown up. But guess what? The people who actually show up for me would never. They would never. So a boundary in that situation for me was less about her. It was realizing that in the past, I have allowed people to guilt, shame, or manipulate me into feeling bad for holding space for myself. And so I learned that my boundary to set was that I will not allow anyone to guilt me or shame me out of my personal space, my personal time, or I guess kind of like make me tell what I'm going through just so that they can understand why I'm not sharing my time. It literally is not mean. You're not being a bitch if you assertively tell people like you're busy and that's it. You literally tell people, no, I can't help you do this weekend. You literally tell someone who asks you, is you free? You tell them, no, I'm not free. Like, I literally had family members who knew it was my day off and would ask me, am I free? Because it's my day off, thinking that I was going to say I'm free because I'm going to say I'm free because I'm used to people pleasing. My boundary now is I am not a people pleaser. The only person I'm aiming to please right now is me and Charlotte. That does not mean that I cannot have empathy, love, and compassion for other people while I am taking care of myself and my child. But that just means that me and her come first. We come first. The boundary is me and her come first. Me and her come first. She signed a contract to be here, and I signed one to take care of her. I signed one accepting that I was going to be that girl's mom. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I'm going to make mom mistakes. And I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on going. But I got to look out for me and her first. And that's my boundary. And if you can't understand or respect that boundary, you're right. Like, we're not a fit. And that's how I've been looking at boundaries. I've been looking at boundaries as less of... and definitely if you deal with attachment issues, because it's hard to let people go, right, if you deal with attachment issues. But I've been looking at my boundaries as more of like, if this does not align with my best interests or it's not beneficial for me. And I don't mean that in a way where I don't have situations where I help people. Like, I just had someone call me that wanted to vent. And it was beneficial for me because I get to hear and see their growth and all that stuff. So it was beneficial in some kind of way. But literally, I didn't really gain anything out of that besides helping someone. And I do like helping people. That's one of my passions in life. It's just that I am not going to be a martyr anymore. I am not going to... Let me cut this light off. It's not that one. There we go. I'm not going to be a martyr anymore. I can't sacrifice me and my child's happiness and health for anyone else. And I don't think that anyone who is aligned with us would want us to do that. I don't think they would manipulate us to not, focus on self first. Because all the healthy friends I have, they know that they focus on self first. And I get it. I've been in her situation, and I think that we share some of this, like us being in the same family. Of course, we're going to share some of similar traumas and I don't know how to say behaviors, because we most likely, that trauma gets passed down through DNA and also through how our parents show up. So I'm pretty sure, like, I get it. I get where she was coming from. She probably was just anxious and didn't know where she stood with me, or she wanted her needs met and didn't know how to get her needs met by me. I have no ill will. She's still, she's still fam. However, you don't get to have close access to me. So literally, boundary setting is number one. Figuring out what are your no's, your do's, and your don'ts for you, not for other people. What are your do's and don'ts for you? It is not for you to project onto other people per se, but if something does happen, you should be able to talk to a person and tell them, hey, look, this is how I operate. This is what I expect. This is my guidelines and policies. If a person cannot get with your program, they're not meant to be with you in any fashion or form. It doesn't matter whether it's friendship, family, platonic, stuff, romantic, any of that stuff. Like, you literally have to honor yourself. That's boundary setting. And then enforcing boundaries is you. It is you making those hard choices of how you will deal with people. With my mom, is low fucking contact as possible. Once I'm out of this situation completely, it will be no contact. It will be none. The friend, no contact. Now, if I run into her, which I have noticed, like one of my told me this too, like you get to a point where you stop running into these people. Like they don't even get to share the same space as you. And, you know, so I literally, you know, if our paths have to cross, you know, it's cordial, but like literally there's no reason for our paths to cross. So I would put her as a no contact, probably unless it's dealing with the kids. So we can say that's a low contact. And then the cousin, it's a low contact, no contact. Cause literally with both of those, I just blocked it because like there was nothing there. And a lot of people say, well, you know, why are relationships like, you know, transactional? Relationships should be transactional. Everything is reciprocity. It's give and take. And if you are taking, and you don't give, that's an extreme. That's toxic. If you giving, which was on me, and not knowing how to receive, that is fucking toxic because you're going to always be a doormat. And then you're going to be blaming other people for how they treat you. And yes, people are treating you bad, but you're allowing it. So that's a toxic extreme. But God made us to be utilized and beneficial to each other. We should always be beneficial to each other in some type of way. But God did not make us to be misused and abused by each other, mistreated. So we are to be used and utilized, but we're not to be misused and mistreated. So saying that, I do look at relationships and all that stuff as they're not even transactional, because transactional sounds so like businessy, but there should be some give and take flow. It should be people giving and taking from each other. It should be constant. It's just the same way you want that money to flow through you constantly. Like you invest money, you spend money, you make money, you know, money come and money go. And money come in and money come out. Money come in and money come out. Your money make money. The same way. We want people. We want these energies and these people to literally be in exchange. If your energy is not elevating me, I don't want it. If my energy ain't elevating you, you should not want it. And that's where I'm at. Like, I don't want energies that do not elevate me. That is a boundary for me. And I don't want energies... I don't want anybody to want my energy that I'm not elevating you. I need to leave you better than I found you. And I don't say that in a way that I am sitting here, you know, lifting you up and doing it on my own. I mean it by just inspiring you. My presence alone, it has inspired you. Sometimes that is enough to give to someone else. Your presence. Sometimes people just want you to be around. I know I wanted that a lot when I first lost my partner. There was moments where I didn't want nobody around, but there were moments where I just wanted someone to sit so I could go to sleep. It was just the energy alone. It wasn't about receiving anything financial, monetary, none of that. It's just to have someone around that could bring me peace. Because I was figuring out how to have my own. And, you know, like, some people's presence is peaceful as fuck. And I know I have a peaceful presence sometimes. Sometimes I have a very, very loving presence sometimes. Like, so I'm more onto this energy stuff. And if it doesn't align with me, then I don't want it. And I had to learn to be okay with that. So I'm done talking because I'm getting very repetitive. And I hope this helps somebody with boundaries. I hope that this is how boundaries make sense to me. I'm not a fucking psychologist, nor do I even I used to want to go to school and get my PhD in it. I don't need to anymore. I done studied people since I was a little fucking kid. Give me the honorary one. Give me the honorary one. I've been around all types of people throughout my whole entire life. And the person that I'm finally learning is myself. that's what I'm finally learning, and I thank God for it every day. As you know, I'm observing Ramadan, so I definitely need to go pray and go eat and try not to stuff myself. I've literally be wanting to try to get full. I don't know if y'all do, whoever finds this video, like if you do observe Ramadan, like what do you break fast with? I've tried dates. I wasn't feeling it. They are very sweet, but it's still like I gotta get used to that taste. I'll try it again tomorrow. But I like breaking fast with an apple. The apple tastes so freaking good, and I'm getting liquids because I told you it mostly be water that be hurting me. But I do get hungry throughout the day, and just observing Ramadan for these last 10, 11 days has been life altering. So, and I say life altering in such a good way, but I've been at peace a lot too. I haven't been really needing or wanting anything like on a grander level, like, you know, usually, you know, people be praying for this and that. I've been really thankful and grateful, and like I be having to check myself, like, God, am I still tapped in with you? Like, and God be like, yeah, you still tapped in, you just don't need anything. What are you grateful for? Like, and so I just do my gratitudes, and yeah, and so that's that. Hope this video helps somebody, whether it's today, tomorrow, 30 years from now, when I'm dead and gone. Maybe it helps my kids. I don't know. All I know is that I used to wish I was where I'm at now back then, but I'm so grateful for everything that led me up to this point. Life is a journey, and you just got to enjoy your journey no matter how hard it gets. When you're in your hard moments, it's a process. You get to feel sorry for yourself. A lot of people tell you don't feel sorry for yourself. Feel what the fuck you gotta feel. I never really got to feel sorry for myself in life, and even the moments where I did, I was always told, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you can't take self-pity. Some situations you gotta go through those process of taking self-pity until you can get to the point of realizing that you don't have to be a victim anymore. You don't have to be a victim anymore. You can literally break the cycle of victimhood mentality, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to do the hard work to heal. And I'm gonna leave you with that.